Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. So I want you to imagine for a moment, and of course I had to show you because my guard dog is right there. My German Shepherd. He's never away from me. So I want you to picture this. I don't know how many of you have been divorced. When two people get divorced, they get divorced because it is typically a irreconcilable differences. That's like the legal term for that, right? And when you have children in the home, oftentimes you try to make it very amicable, right? So that you know that no matter which house the children are in, you know that you are sharing the values and you are sharing the raising of those children. The problem that we have now is that we have, I'm going to raise this up just a little bit if I can. There we go. My flowers, aren't they pretty? So the problem that we have in America right now is that, and this is just my opinion, so I would love to hear you guys, what your point of view on this is. We have irreconcilable differences right now between the left and the right, the blue and the red. And we cannot imagine that you were staying in a house, so you had to stay in the same house. Okay, think of the movie The War of the Roses. I think of Kathleen Turner and can't think of the guy that was in it, but they had to like literally split the house in half, right? So think if you had to live in the house with somebody who was completely opposite of your ideologies or your values. And you would never really know or be able to come to an understanding of how to raise the kids, right? Because your values and your ideologies are so different. That's where we are in America right now. We have irreconcilable differences between the right and the left, in my opinion. We cannot come together. There's becoming fewer and fewer connecting points that we can have. So, you know, conservatives are mostly pro-life. I am pro-life. I believe that there are circumstances where abortion might be, you know, with prayer and with God's guidance, a thing, like rape, incest, you know, those types of things. But abortion was never meant as a form of birth control. And that's how the left uses it. Okay? We have the left who believes that the value of illegals coming into this country is more important than the veterans who risked their lives for our freedoms, right? And those illegal immigrants who committed a crime coming into the country illegally, their lives are more important than American citizens and American heroes or veterans who are living on the streets, getting kicked out of hotels. You've heard me talk about that before. This goes beyond that. Okay? I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but in Ireland, so the Protestants and the Catholics have been at each other's throats forever, like eons, right? The Troubles is what they called it back in the day. They have been at war with each other forever and ever and ever. Have you seen what they're doing now? If you haven't, look it up. The Protestants and the Catholics in Ireland have joined together. And they are going against the Muslims that have come illegally into Ireland. And they're like, you know, we might be at odds with each other, but we are Irish. And so we're not going to allow this anymore. Like, we're done. So for the first time in a long history, I'm talking centuries, the Protestants and the Catholics in Ireland are coming together, parading together, marching together, fighting together against the illegal Muslims that have come into their country. If that's not biblical, I don't know what is. Okay? So they have found a way, Ireland has found a way to bring their differences together because they understand what that means for their children. Okay? Whether you are Protestant or Catholic, they recognize that having this Muslim takeover in Ireland is not good for any of their children. So they were able to bring this together and fight against that same thing. But here in America, now we did watch some of the DNC. You know, we watched Biden's speech in it. I don't think we watched much else. I can't stomach Obama. That was a no. Same with Michael. And I couldn't stomach to watch Harris's speech. I couldn't do it. Didn't care because it was all going to be the same BS anyways. The point that I am making is that if we have irreconcilable differences, they want children to be programmed and physically altered and medicated. They want men competing in women's sports. They want abortion to be a form of birth control, up to and past, mind you, term. So a baby's born and I don't really want it, so then let's, get rid of it. So murder, I'm just going to put it out there. Feminists, which I really laugh at, they're all about the woman and raising that glass ceiling and having equality for women, but yet they can't define women and they allow men in women's sports. They're all about this trans movement, and everything that I have seen from that side of the aisle is so anti-biblical, anti-God, anti-Christian. And now, I don't know if you know, but in Texas, I think it's in Houston, they put up this big Hindu god, happens to be the monkey god, and it's like 30 feet tall or 60 feet tall, I don't remember how big it is, and not a single church, like Christian church, came out against that. Not a single one. We are so divorced from the other side, in my opinion. I have tried to find common ground. I talked to somebody today on Facebook. I commented, she had brought up, that Project 2025, and she keeps trying to link it to Trump, and I keep telling her, it's not from Trump. He disagrees with almost everything in there. And as I'm sure Kamala would, right? So stop using rhetoric as a defense of the Democratic Party. Start using policies. Well, she hasn't responded yet. But what happens when you are so divorced from the other side? You cannot agree on how children should be raised. As we all know, There is no way in hell that I will let my child be exposed to trans people reading to them in a library. I will not let her be exposed to men in her locker room or in her bathroom. You know, I sub for her school district, and if I see any of that happen, we're out of there. Like, she's gone and I'm gone. Folks, we are at a time right now where you cannot sit on that fence and be like, yeah, well, because what happens when two people get divorced and they don't have the same values for their children? Then what happens? We can't all play in the sandbox together. You know, my husband and I were just talking a little bit ago about, so if you have a conservative and you have a Democrat and they go into the grocery store and the conservative is complaining about the prices at the grocery store, and the Democrat is saying, well, yeah, but this started when Trump, and the conservative is going, no, this actually started after that, you know, blah, blah, blah. The fight never goes away. There will never be peace, guys. We have gone so far into those ideologies. Only one of us is on the right side, and it's about time that people start recognizing that. And if you are still sitting on that fence post, you better pick a side. Because there's a lot of biblical things happening right now that could be the beginning of the end. And if your soul isn't right with God, then you're not going to be right with God. Your name is not going to be written in the book of life. And I don't mean this to be a preachy thing, right? What I do is I sit back and I go, well, how do we fix this? If Kamala gets in another 4 years, this will be a communist country within 2. We're already kind of in that way because we have censorship. You saw what they're doing in UK, right? You can't even post pictures of the riots over there. They will arrest you. Just for pictures. Doesn't matter. Just for pictures. And over here, if you say, you know, Kamala's not an intelligent person, they will censor that. So we're being censored. The media is feeding the American public what they want the American public to believe. See, this is what, and I don't believe that that's the Antichrist, but it's the Antichrist spirit. If you know your Bible, the Antichrist spirit is very deceptive. Okay? The Antichrist spirit makes people believe in things that aren't really true. And I can give you an example of that. Kamala was the border czar. The media said it. Joe Biden said it. Now they're saying, well, she was never actually that. Kamala comes out and says, oh, I'm going to, just elect me as president and I'm going to fix this border. You've been vice president and the border czar, and you've done nothing. But the media says, oh my gosh, she's so wonderful. She's going to fix this border problem. She's going to be, just amazing, right? She's saying that she's going to not tax the tips of our service workers, right? Where did you hear that before? Trump. But the media, with that Antichrist spirit, is trying to make people forget everything that was said before. And now we're going to believe this new Kamala. We are a country divided. If Kamala gets elected, we're going to be a communist country. It's going to be even more divided. If Trump gets elected, the left is going to go bonkers. We're going to be even more divided. In the next 4 years, folks, we will not be at peace. And you need to prepare for that. I hate to have this as a wake-up call, but that's where we're at. Get right with God, because if certain things happen in these next few years, we definitely know that this is the beginning of the end. And you want to be right with God, number one. Okay? Number two, you need to be preparing. Because no matter who gets elected in November, it's over. It's game over. We are at irreconcilable differences. So you need to plan for that. You need to prepare for that. Now, it's getting dark, so I need to end this video, but I want to say this. So tomorrow, we are actually making toilet paper. We have the paper soaking right now. And we made a batch of plantain salve, which, oh my gosh, that stuff works so great. I got stung by a bee, and we put some of that plantain salve on it. The hurt went away. It hasn't itched. I haven't even felt it since we put the salve on there. So I'm going to put together kind of a montage video of us doing this stuff in the process. Okay, so right here, just to show you, these are buckets of shredded newspaper. And this is what we are going to be making tomorrow. So I'm going to show you what we do with that after it has soaked for 24 hours. This is the salve that we made. This is the plantain salve. Now, what you notice about it, though, is that it's really hard to get in there without digging your fingernail into it. Okay? So we're going to actually redo this, and I'm going to add a little bit more oil to it, because you should be able to just put your finger across it like that and get some salve. But I put this on that bee sting, and I never felt a thing after that. So I'm going to show you how we make this, because we're going to do some more tomorrow. I'm going to make a new batch, but I'm also going to redo this batch. So that's all I've got for tonight. Please think on it. I'd love to hear comments in the comment section below. Tomorrow I will put out the video of how we make the toilet paper and the plantain salve. But please hit that likes button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, especially the like button, because it does help. So stay safe, guys. Stay vigilant. And God bless you all.